Howdy, everybody, and happy Halloween! Welcome to another exciting episode of the Faab Five campaign here on the Random Rhapsody Network. I'm Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and game master, and joining me around my virtual table tonight are Alyssa, Joe, Koines, and Kyle. Say hi, everyone.
Howdy, y'all.
Hola.
Now, before we begin, we do have a few announcements to get through, starting with the first of our two sponsors for tonight's show, Hero Forge. Hero Forge offers fully customizable tabletop minis with dozens of fantasy species and thousands of parts to choose from. Their easy-to-use design tool lets you build your perfect miniature online using a fully 3D in-depth character creator right in your web browser, which is where we build the tokens for this evening's game. You can build yours today at HeroForge.com. Our second sponsor for tonight's show is XSplit. XSplit is a high-quality virtual webcam background remover that works with your already existing webcam. Using this program, you can protect your privacy while you work or play remotely. You can blur, remove the background entirely, or even put your favorite picture as the background instead. You can download the app today at xsplit.com, and if you use the coupon code RANDOM with a capital R, you can get 10% off of your purchase. You can find our referral link in the chat and show description. Last but not least, this week we are playing Magi Nights this Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central. The Dreams of Infinity are starting to come together, and our heroes have some choices they have to make here soon. Should be very interesting. Now you can keep up to date on our schedule and everything we're doing by following us on Facebook as Random Rhapsody TV and on Twitter as @random_Rhapsody. And that's going to do it for these announcements. So join us as we dive into the world of Loroupa and continue on with the adventures of the Faab Five. And we're back. So when we last left off, the Faab Five had been teleported to a floating castle owned by the Loroupan Fellowship, which was used as a mobile base to prepare for the upcoming infiltration of the city surrounding the Dreaming Tree. After a long rest, the team was awakened to discover that they had forgotten to bring their enchanter friend Mitchell along with them, and the man had been captured when he appeared inside of their tent. The situation was quickly resolved, and once the wizard appeared, he presented each of the team with a ring he had crafted to allow them to speak to the people in this ancient setting. The wizard also explained to everyone how he planned on participating in the ritual to summon Ambar Belthor, the massive, monstrous creature, while the squad made their way into the city, thereby increasing the chance of success. Once the beast was summoned, Mitchell plans to cast the spell Plane Shift to transport himself into the Dream Realm, to rejoin the group in the hopes that the battle against the Dreamer would lead them all home. With these decisions made, the party gathered up their belongings to set out. But before they could, the flying fortress was attacked by a red dragon and a squadron of Coatl that bombed the upper palisades as they flew around the floating island. Veil, Blood, and Apollyon were the first to react, rushing out of the building to face the first Coatl that appeared. But not long after that, the opposite side of the fortress came under attack by the majority of the forces, leaving Eloise and Liam to contend with a much larger group. And so, Faab Five. Eloise ended up taking the brunt of the attacks while the rest of the group hurried to rejoin the battle. The upper part of the fortress was set aflame by the dragon's breath, but Blood, with his arrows of dragon slaying, quickly turned the beast on his tail to escape. Apollyon and Blood tried to fly after him, but the dragon turned out to be a spellcaster as well, and was quickly able to outpace even Blood's massive range with his bow. In the end, the red dragon did escape, no doubt intent on reporting what had happened to its master. But the Coatl were brought down at least, so that's a good thing. And so, as you all take stock of your situation, a question comes to each of your minds. And that question is, what are your hobbies and interests outside of your actual profession or your class in this situation? And Eloise, since you are the one who rolled, why don't you go ahead and go first?
Well, I like anything that has to do with taking ingredients and making something with it. Cooking, baking, brewing, like all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Blood from a Stone, you're next.
I didn't join the conclave just to get free stuff. Well, that is nice, but I like history. I like hunting down history. My own history in particular, but I'll hunt down any mystery. It's fun.
I like it. Apollyon, how about you?
Oh, when I go to have some fun and tinker in my little workshop, I'm working on fashion, baby. Strips of leather, buttons, tassels. I gotta have all the accessories to be looking fly in and out of the ring.
I like it. Necthros Veil, how about you?
Well, it's no mystery that I'm a big fan of books, but I also have a pretty soft spot for the spoken word and poetry.
I like it. Liam, you're next.
Fishing. I've always loved fishing. And I've got to say, if we were back in time, this would be a perfect time to go fishing if we weren't trying to save the world every 5 minutes. The ocean is right there, but it's like 5 miles beneath us. Ancient fish, come on.
Okay. Well, Faab Five. With the Coatl now defeated, you all are looking about the fortress that you are all standing on. You are on the very topmost portion of it, on a bit of a courtyard that stretches out over the entirety of that floor. The Coatl are dead now, lying on the ground just outside the building you had been staying a few moments ago. And now that things are starting to calm down, you're starting to see like more soldiers come running out from the various doorways around you. A lot of people are climbing up onto the palisades looking for survivors. Things are once again in motion. Some of them come up and kind of congratulate you for driving away the dragon. Your fight had been witnessed, but there was what you don't know was that while your group dealt with the very top of the forces, the dragon and the Coatl, there were a lot of other soldiers that arrived to attack the fortress as well. That one staff sergeant, the fawn that you had seen previously, he shows up as well, and he informs the group that the lower levels of the fortress were attacked by celestials on the back of Pegasuses. Master Adamus led the charge down there, dealing with most of the threat. And once the situation was at least a little more in hand, he had sent some soldiers up to assist your group. But by the time they got there, the dragon had already been driven off. The Coatl are destroyed, and Apollyon is beginning to fly back towards the fortress as well, with blood on his back. So, with that in mind, and with everything else going on, what do you all want to do?
Search. Take
I'm-
heads.
I'm going to slowly and probably gracelessly try to land.
I think we only have Coatl up top, so I don't know how much you're gonna get off of them.
Yeah,
Or maybe that's what you're looking for. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're looking for. The Coatl don't have like possessions on them or anything like that, but if you want to like get a sense of the creature itself, you could make an investigation check.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never heard of this. In Jeremy's never heard of these creatures. I'm sure Vale has read about them in books, but to see one up close, he's probably fascinated. So he'll go up and kind of search and see what these are, if there's anything that I could take off of them of value or use, and just generally curious of them.
Sure, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Would you mind rolling that for me while I'm trying to log in?
Sure.
Thank you.
I know it's been a while since we've discussed it, but we're still technically conclave members, right? Are we supposed to be collecting heads? I mean, we're not technically in their jurisdiction anymore.
I don't think we're gonna make it back there to collect that money anyway.
Right. I wish you'd
Are
be
we-
a little bit more optimistic on our chances,
No.
but
Are we
I-
currently
I-
under contract?
Well, we're always under contract with them, but we don't have a contract for heads in the past because I don't think anybody knew this was possible.
no, but there was an open invitation for anything of
Weird,
interest.
yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
We can always
as
bring back
Apollyon and Blood
interesting stuff.
land back on the castle, I go, oh yeah, I still got this motherfucker's head, and I pull out Aku. I can never get his name right.
Akusede.
Akusede's head.
That fucking bird. That's all you got to call him.
Yeah, is his head still in my pack?
It
Yeah,
might be
probably. I don't
mush
see
by
why
now.
not.
Oh no, that was only
Okay,
what,
I
a
wasn't sure if
couple
there was
days
like
ago.
some time travel stuff where like he doesn't exist. and
Yeah,
he
it's-
does,
Oh
in
no,
the past.
no! You put the head in your bag and then you went through time. It's definitely still there. It's kind of juicy a little bit,
Yeah, it's
after being
getting ripe.
dead for a couple days. There's a smell coming out of your bag the moment you open it, but it's still there.
Can I ask Mitchell to cast what is that spell?
Spare the
Preserve
dying?
Dead.
Oh, you know what? We actually, ironically, I think we have fucking potions for that.
For what spell?
I can't remember the name of the spell, but it's
Like preserve,
it's
something.
like a spell that like preserves dead bodies and makes them so they can't be reanimated. I think.
Okay, I do know what spell you're talking about. God, what is?
I could have sworn we
It's
had
like a cleric spell.
I thought we had a potion
Maybe
for it, but I
resist
guess not. Oh, no. We have 2 potions of preservation. Stops whatever it's poured on from rotting or degrading. Which I didn't
Yeah,
know we
give
were
me some
ever
of
going to
that.
get a chance to use. But I guess we do now.
Yeah, you can absolutely pour that over the head and keep it in its current state.
Yeah,
I
blood
think
is
it's
gonna be like,
gentle. No.
well, gentle
Gentle
repose
repose.
would prevent that. Yeah, that would do it, but I think that keeps him alive, technically, like suspended
Well, let's
animation.
see. You touch a corpse or other remains for the
protected from decay
duration.
and
A
can't be
target is
undead.
protected from
Yeah.
decay and can't
Okay,
be
yeah.
turned undead.
Well, I mean, would they be able to do anything without the body, just the head? But he'll give you one of these potions.
Yeah, like speed.
Well, I guess there's that, yeah. He'll give you one of these preservation potions if you really want to keep this guy around.
Mitchell does not know the Gentle Repose
Oh,
spell,
yeah.
just so you know.
Paladins would.
But it is a spell a wizard can learn, so he could ask. You all could ask for it from the fellowship.
I was say the conclave.
I was about to say the conclave, but the conclave doesn't exist. Veil, for your investigation, checking out these creatures, you rolled a 9, just so you know. I will go ahead and show you what they look like. They are pretty interesting creatures. They're medium-sized serpents with gigantic feathery wings sprouting out from their sides. They're about 8 feet long from nose to tail, and their wings are another 3 feet long side to side. So they're a relatively decent-sized medium creature. Apart from the scales and the feathers and stuff like that, they don't actually have anything on them. But you do recognize the fact that these are technically celestial creatures.
I could have spoke to them.
You could have spoken to the dragon. It doesn't mean
Oh,
he's gonna be pleasant.
We killed him before you could have that conversation.
I think I fall the last 20 feet.
You fall the last 20 feet and just land
Yeah.
with a thump. Well, I mean, if you fall 20 feet, that's 2d6
shit.
damage.
Somebody get a
What?
potion ready.
Didn't she finish falling at the end of last episode?
No, like she was still hovering there, but she just is exhausted. And as she's trying to come down, she just drops and lands with a thud, doing 9 points of damage.
Didn't you have under 10?
I had 3.
Yes, she did.
Blood's just gonna hand over.
Liam's
potions
already
to the bag.
there with one of his
Yeah,
potions.
he's just gonna be like,
You can use one of the
save it.
potions that are on her if you want. Like,
That's not how reaction works.
Okay.
Liam sees you go down and just reacts and pulls a greater potion out of his sack.
I mean, I've got 3 moderate and a lesser.
Well, then you shouldn't have rolled poorly.
hey, you know what? And you chose to roll that too, Matt. So missed you. So that is
I am
all
ta-
on Alyssa.
Alright,
If I didn't do it, I knew Matt was already gonna ask for it. So
Yeah, I mean, she's not wrong. I just hadn't gotten to that point. It's in my
Alright.
notes.
The greater is 3d4 plus 3. Go ahead and go back up to double digits.
10 points of healing.
You said the I guess the sergeant at arms or the sergeant of the guard was up here.
ow.
Not sure most graceful.
It started with an A. You said the name and I just fucking forgot it.
Hold on. Let me pull it up
Akusere?
real quick.
No, not that
No,
A.
that's not Aku.
Adamus?
No,
the-
yeah.
Well, Adamus is the.
He's downstairs.
Yeah, he's downstairs.
I thought he came up to.
No, the satyr is Tomlin Burrush.
Oh, okay.
That's the base sergeant who came up to tell you what was going on downstairs.
I guess let's walk into him. He'll come by Eloise and just like tap her on the shoulder and be like, just pump a level 2 into her. So you're like, all right, just he's like, buck up there. We're gonna need you. Another 10. And then he's gonna look to, I guess, the satyr and be like, he goes, this is supposed to be a secret base, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It is supposed to be a secret base.
Has it ever been attacked at any point during this entire war?
No, not at all. This is considered our most secure location. It's moving around constantly.
So the only change was us arriving.
Which means that there's always been a traitor in our midst.
He's just. I'm not gonna say it because I don't think Matt would. Maybe he would do it. I don't know. He'd do it just to tickle me, to piss Eloise off, or to Alyssa off. It's like a traitor, you say? No. Can't
Just
be him.
say the name out loud, man. You
it's
know
like-
you want to.
He's like, where's Mitchell? No. Do you have any ideas of who this traitor might be? Because do you know where their dragons? Do they have a roost? Do they have a home? Because we need to get. I mean, I wasn't able to get to him in time, and he's gonna tell back and tell him exactly where we are, and he's gonna mention that he fought us.
Dragons loyal to the great wisdom usually make their residence there, in the great city.
I was kind of hoping to avoid them knowing exactly where we were until we assaulted the tree.
As you say that, you hear the familiar voice of Adamus speaking up from behind you. You all look to see him walking out from one of the doors along with Robert Mitchell. Adamus looks at you all and he approaches and says, "Well, I am glad to see that you are all survived. Well done, heroes. How are you all? How are you all feeling?"
Liam
Most
just
of
looks
us
to Eloise.
are good. We're here.
She's just like
she's
crouched
pretty
over,
burnt
holding her
up right
ribs.
now. Yeah.
Give her a few minutes. She'll be fine.
I need a healer over here. He yells
I'm
out.
okay. I'll be
Yeah.
okay. I'll be okay. So my question is, how soon do we think? Well, we still have like what 2 weeks before the ritual is.
Cast.
Yeah,
well,
you've
it's
got.
before
It's going to be.
finished.
It's going to be cast in 5. It's going to start casting in 5 days, and then it
Yeah.
takes about a week to fully cast.
Okay.
So
Was anything taken?
Well, not up here.
Not that. We haven't determined that entirely yet, but I don't think that's why they attacked here.
No, they attacked.
Right,
us
but
here.
they wouldn't have just attacked for no reason. Why would they
The
attack
reason-
now if they knew the location?
I think it's because of us.
I think Avier
She
told them we
told
were
him
here.
the history that 5 heroes, supposedly in Loroupan history, stopped them. They don't know that his vision. They don't know that it could be us, but 5 of us came through. I mean, the coincidences there are too much to ignore. Whether or not it is actually us or not, they're going to have to act on it, and as quickly as possible. That's what I would have done.
Well, I don't see any other big heroes around.
Is it
Well,
possible that the dragon
killed
could have thought that maybe I might not survive? Because if that's the case, if we can spread that, then if we can spread the rumor that there are no longer 5 heroes, then maybe we can catch them off guard.
Well, the problem is, if we do have a traitor, they might.
Well,
get
the
hurt.
dragon
all
didn't
deception
exactly
now.
stay for the duration of the fight.
No, that's true.
Based on the fact that the dragon did leave, we have to assume that it's taking all whatever information it gathered to the great wisdom. There's only one reason, or well, I can't say there's only
It was
one
a
reason they would
test.
attack, but my thoughts are exactly the same thing. This was a test, trying to draw out your group.
We need to leave.
Right, but you said this is a floating island? So how long until this is a secret base again?
That person that's the traitor could be here.
Is it a traveling floating island, or does it stay in one
Yeah,
spot?
It said it moves
does.
around.
It does move around very slowly, but it does move. But we can't take the chance that there is a traitor here.
Well, and that dragon was magical, or well, I mean, he knew magic. I
Mhm.
mean, I've seen you can locate stuff. He looks at Veil just by using magic. I think Eloise, I think you've done that too. I mean, they could just picture the tower on this thing and find it.
Well, first and foremost, if the traitor is in the castle and that would be necessary to tell our location to them, then they would be in a safe spot knowing when the attack was coming. Is there anyone that was in an extremely safe spot?
You know, you're just teeing blood up. Mitchell, where were you during this fight?
Adamus and Mitchell kind of look at one another, and Adamus says, I appreciate your suspicions, Blood, but Adamus was actually fighting. Adamus,
Mitchell was fighting?
Mitchell,
Damn it.
he kind of shrugs a little bit, and Mitchell says, I was getting ready for a bit of a massage when the attack went down. I, of course, came and lended what aid I could. I'm not a fighter by any stretch of the imagination. I am, of course, just an artisan, but I could not leave those around me defenseless, and so of course I did participate.
Blood is like the epitome of if you see something, say something.
He's poking. No, at
Yeah.
this point,
Eloise is like crouched over, holding onto her ribs, and she still tries to take a swipe at Blood.
I'm just poking that Eloise-shaped bear right now every time I get my chance. Good. Did you at least get your happy ending?
No, unfortunately not, but the night is still young, as
You
they
could have
say.
ignored me, man. You could have ignored me. Ah, God, dude, it's just like
It's
on
more
Wednesday night, man.
It's more fun watching your face go red.
You
That's all.
feed that beast. You feed Cog all the time. You really. Oh God. Is there anybody else that you have ever suspected in your midst may not be loyal? Maybe even somebody who's joined recently and fought for the other side? Maybe it's someone that turned tail and has come to your side?
Adamus speaks up at this. There will be, of course, an investigation into the matter. I will gather up those loyal to me who I know are without reproach and conduct the necessary investigation. However,
I think it's going to have to be somebody high up.
at this point, your concern should not be on whether or not there's a traitor here, because we are going to be sending you immediately away.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. I completely agree.
As I've said, I've ordered the evacuation of the fortress. We are going to be setting it on a new path, and we will be moving people as quickly as possible. Your group, however, we are planning on teleporting out, continuing on with our plan. Most of the army has no idea what you're going to be doing, only that you're going to be leading the army. And so your movement around won't draw too much more suspicion than it would add automatically.
Yeah, I think we might want to use one of those spells of seeming before we leave, just so they don't notice us leaving.
Oh, the old spell of Irish exit.
He'll look at you. Yeah, whatever that means. Yeah.
Everyone just kind of looks blankly. Well, you do have
From another time.
You do have your Stone of Seeming. If you wish to cast it and then make your way to the teleportation circle, by all means.
Oh, I've got the.
I was gonna say we got scrolls of it too, don't we? I'd say keep the stone.
You have a stone that works once per day, no matter what.
Okay.
It's a
And how long does it last?
8 hours.
It's 8 hours. So I think we could probably be safe to use, because I know it's Apollyon's like emergency, if he's himself, since he can't cast it himself. But I think we'd probably be okay using it now, and then leaving, and then it'll recharge. surely we can't be attacked secretly twice in one day, right?
You knock on wood. Blood from a stone. You keep that bad
Apollyon's
juju
gonna
to
use
yourself.
Liam's gonna
Apollion's
pull
gonna
one of
use
the
his,
green
stone to turn
tunics
into,
out of
like-
his pack and hand it to Eloise because her robes are burnt to shit at this point.
Oh, I'm sure we can get her clothes. They got
Yeah, but
everything
just
here.
like while she's
Oh,
in transition,
keep her modest.
well, she's not modest. Liam's trying.
Are you? You know what? You're right.
What were you saying, Apollyon?
Oh, I said I'm going to use my stone to turn into my alter ego, El Toro Fuerte.
Yeah, but you're
I'm gonna
still
seem, a foot shorter, and glamour away my wings, so I just look like more like a humanoid minotaur, and I'm gonna have my like
I
fancy
think they
black
say
and purple
minotaurs
robe
aren't
on
here.
and a little monocle.
He's very sophisticated.
I know, but I think they said minotaurs don't.
Yeah.
They're not like any in the city. So I was thinking
I'll
you'd
have
have
my
to be like a
horns slicked
human,
back.
or you make yourself a
No.
tiefling, or tieflings down there. Still got the horns.
Make yourself look like the Hellboy, where you got the horns kind of filed down.
Well, he
I like
broke his-
Oh,
El
yeah.
Toro
his horns
Fuerte.
up. Well, I do. I'm just saying, it's like, didn't you, I think they said that there aren't
Who was
any.
at if I'm not mistaken, El
minotaurs.
Toro Fuerte was at the
Yeah, he
villa, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where
when
he
we were
went.
at the
Yeah.
ball,
Yeah.
dancing
Love that
the night
dude.
away.
Love that dude.
Yeah, that was the one where Blood went in disguised with a hat of surprise. Had a disguise as I think he was a maid.
Mm-hmm.
Sneak.
Yes, French maid,
Staff
if I'm
member,
not
yeah.
mistaken.
See, I mean, God damn it, I know you
All right, there we
posted
go.
it.
I posted it in the
Uh,
chat.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I mean, the only reason I would say is just I think they said there weren't any minotaurs. That was the only thing I was that I'd say be off about that. But
Yeah, Apollyon doesn't care.
Well,
That's
All
fine.
right.
He's not smart.
What's the athletics
He's
check,
not-
Eloise?
Oh, that was to
Smart.
swipe
When you
at
try to
blood.
like tell
Oh,
him, no, don't do that, he's like trying to cast the spell.
Yeah. Adamus just looks at your new seeming form, and he's just, I got nothing.
I mean, it works on everybody. So I mean, Blood would just go to that human that he was when he came out of the cave.
Yeah, technically it does work on all of
Yeah.
you.
And the caster chooses what people look like. But
So
if you-
Apollyon gets
oh,
to choose.
I know.
Yeah.
What do we all
Then,
look
you know
like?
what? The Blooded immediately cast disguise self as soon as Apollyon fucked does something.
Pretty sure seeming goes over because it's a higher level
Yeah,
spell.
let me read this. Any number of creatures that you can see within range, give each target you choose a new is illusory appearance. Unwilling target make a charisma saving throw, and it's unaffected by a spell. Physique as well as clothing, armor.
I'm
Yeah, so
willing,
I'm just gonna make
Apollyon.
everybody look like the less harmless version of themselves. Like nobody's gonna be wearing armor. We're all gonna be wearing like just nice but like fancy clothes, like very fashionable outfits. Like we're going to the ball.
Do me a favor
Yeah, but
and
what
move
does
your
blood look
microphone
like?
closer to your mouth, Koines.
Does Veil get
Test,
to have
test,
two
test,
eyes
test.
in this seeming, or does he still just have one eye in Apollyon's seeming?
Or is it the other eye that's
Oh
missing?
yeah, he's got two eyes. Yeah, he's got like a very nice eye patch with like a little insignia of Lolth on it.
Nice.
There
Oh
you
wait,
go.
no, not nice.
She's against
That'd
you
be like
right
me
now.
That'd be like me wearing a leg sleeve with a motorcycle on it.
Adamus just looks at this whole thing. He's like, you know, you're supposed to make
Yeah.
yourselves look different than
And,
what what you normally look like, right?
and a lot of people in the city, buddy, are
What?
gonna be
This is different.
poor.
This is nice.
Well, he cast it. That's
He-
what it is.
Yeah, Adamus just kind of takes a deep calming breath, meditates for just half a second before saying, fine, whatever. Gather up your things. I will
do a
take you
charisma
to the
save,
teleportation circle in 10 minutes.
What would be his casting for that stone? Because he's going to resist.
Blood's gonna resist.
Well, not with
Probably
a 14,
charisma, right?
not.
Well, then you're going to get us killed, buddy, but all right.
Well, my charisma spell save DC is 14, actually.
Well, but it would be based
It's
off
the
of
item.
the item, which
Yep.
minimum is always 15. This is a higher level thing. I was going to say 16.
Oh, okay.
But
Wait,
does-
Seeming is a 5th level spell.
Those healers ever get back to help Eloise? She's still really low.
I suppose I should.
I'm fine. We'll be fine.
I suppose I should let that happen, shouldn't I? I suppose.
Love you too, Matt.
Okay, we're gonna cast Healing Word on you at 3rd level. That was a terrible roll. That's 9 points of healing. I'll have another one do it. That's a lot better. 18 points of healing.
Nice.
Oh, you finicky dice.
How are you looking? Do you, they'd probably cast one more on you if you asked them to.
I mean, we're going to the next, safe place, right? So...
This was supposed to be
Okay.
safe, so...
This was
mean,
supposed to be the safest.
I don't know. I'm not at half yet, so...
Okay. I'll have them cast 2 second levels as well. 10
Giddy up.
and 9. 19 more hit points.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna chug a
Okay.
potion also.
You will also probably have a short rest once you teleport. So I will throw that out to you.
Okay.
Well, anyway, after the...
I'll wait then. I won't. I'll drink the potion after the short rest.
Okay, good idea. You all head back to your room to gather up your things. Mitchell, as you're all filing away, Mitchell grabs the hem of your robe, Eloise, and asks you to hold off a moment. As you, as the rest of your friends leave you, Mitchell takes you over to a nearby hallway and says to you, "Now, Eloise, I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciated everything that you did. Chasing after me, tracking me down, finding me after the cult had kidnapped me. From what I understand, this was mostly due to you. And so I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you very much for coming to find me."
Of course. You're a friend. Of course I'd come.
I have one more thing that I'd like to pass on to you. It's well, to be honest, it's an heirloom, but it's something my family's had for many, many years. It's also something that my father gave to me, that his father gave to him. It has a whole lot of sentimental value, but I feel like in this instance, you would benefit from it much more than I would. Also, if it comes to that, once I make it into the dream realm, I can use it to locate you, as it's something that I've known my entire life. He takes something out and he shows you it's a small ring, about the size that would fit on his pinky. It has runes inscribed around it and a bright yellow gem in the center of it. He tells you, now this is a ring of good fortune. Wear this. It'll help you out in the coming battles and perhaps keep you safe. And as long as you're safe, I should hopefully be able to find you and use that path to get home as well. He hands it to you.
Mitchell, are you sure?
You're going to be in the thick of things in that city. You're going to be fighting untold things to get to that dreamer. Me, I'm going to be spending a week casting a spell. I'll use it to find you again, Eloise.
But find me for what? For when? I don't. It'll be safe.
He kind of chuckles at that. Finding you to get home.
I mean, I don't know how we're gonna do that, so I don't know how much help I can be.
From what Adamus tells me, defeating the dreamer is the key to unlocking the dream realm. The dream realm is everywhere all at once. Time and space are meaningless. It is the pathway to an untold number of dimensions. Me and Broadscale, back when I was forced to assist the cult, we would have long conversations about the nature of time and reality and the connection therein to the place of dreams. That dream realm is the only path that I can think of that might lead us back to our own time. And the only way to wrest control of that is to defeat that dreamer. My hope is, if you carry my ring with you, I'll be able to find you in the dream realm once the ritual has been completed. That way I could come and aid you all.
Well, I don't think I know a spell that can go, through dimensions.
He kind of straightens up a little bit and he says, well, after all, I am the Mitchell the Magnificent.
Okay, well, good luck with the spell. Don't get hurt. Or, mind controlled again.
I will try very hard to, Eloise. You try to take care of your friends, in whatever it is you find over there. I don't know what you're going to be facing, but...
Sounds big and scary, whatever it is.
Ain't that the truth? He holds out a hand for you to shake.
I shake it.
Good luck.
Give a little pat on the shoulder.
Yeah, I mean...
And Eloise isn't jumping into his arms to hug him?
So, what he's given you can mark down on your character sheet a ring of good fortune. It's a ring that allows you to use your dexterity or use your wisdom modifier instead of your dexterity modifier for initiative.
Nice. Use Wiz
That's pretty good.
instead of Dex for.
What is it? Wisdom modifier instead of Dex?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Does it require attunement?
It does require
I would assume.
Okay.
Something that good can't be for free.
Okay. What am I attuned to right now?
I think that'd pretty much be. You're the best one to even have that item.
Winged boots. Does the scarab require attunement? Yes, I have
Yeah.
the scarab, the boots, and I think my
Desi.
cloak.
Oh, Desi's not attuned?
Yeah, it's definitely your staff is the third one.
Yeah, I was to say Desi had to be
I'm
the.
fairly sure.
You can't get a game-breaking item and not be attuned. That'd be unfair.
100%, yeah. Well, even the basic staff of the woodlands. Is
What's the
attuned.
cloak you have?
Protection.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be.
Oh, wait a minute, no, it is.
No, that is.
That is.
So you've had 4.
Not on purpose. Oh, you know what happened? It's probably when we switched me boots, because the boots of Elvenkind aren't attunement.
No, they're not.
So I missed that. I'm sorry, that is my bad.
Are the boots of flying attunement?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh.
Yeah, and that one. Yeah, that one's more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see that
no.
mistake happening, yeah.
Sorry.
Womp womp.
Okay. Then I need to unattune from 2 things if I want the ring. So I will unattune
What's the
from
scarab do?
the scarab.
'Cause that's what you got out of the vault.
Yeah, it gives me advantage on saving throws against spells.
Oh, yeah,
And
that.
And then if I fail a saving throw against a necromantic spell or a harmful effect originating from an undead creature, I can add one of the 11 charges to make it a successful.
You need to keep concentration. So that's important. I would say.
I mean, I have a caster, so.
Oh. Well, that's up to you if you want to lose the +1 for the protection or advantage on all saving throws.
My AC is only 17, and I'm already really squishy comparatively to you guys. But
Say I could cast Bark Skin on you, but it only gets you to 16.
I can't cast Bark Skin.
Yeah, that's
I think Bark Skin.
It would work with the armor, yeah.
Well, no, I don't wear armor. I think. Do I even have leather armor? Hold on.
You've got to have something because you got a -1 to your dex.
I don't see. I'm looking on your.
No, I don't.
picture.
I don't have any armor because I have dragon hide. So while I'm not wearing armor, my AC is 13 plus my dex, which makes it 12.
Yeah.
And then plus my +2 shield, which is
Oh, there's
4.
4. Yeah.
And
Wow.
then plus
Then you could have a 20 because you could have Bark Skin gives you 16, and then your +2 shield gives you an extra 4 in battle.
Okay. So I will.
We would just have to remember to always cast.
Yeah, what's your
It'd be
AC
like
normally,
mage
Eloise?
armor for Jeremy, except it's.
Except
Yeah.
I think Barkskin lasts less time.
I mean that
Just a
it would.
minute?
Let me double check on that one.
Yeah, I'm also alive, kiddo.
Yeah, up to an hour.
Yeah. Oh, 1 hour.
mean-
Okay.
In battle, that would be
Yeah.
when we
You
would
just
need
cast
it the
right
most.
before battle.
And blood can do it too for you. if you need to save your shit, since he doesn't use his spells very often. But his concentration, so if
That's the thing. I can't.
Shit. Yeah,
I
you know
can't
what?
cast it.
Let blood do it then, and he always tries to avoid damage anyway.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So then I will drop the cloak and I guess the winged boots.
We can always put the cloak back on you at some point.
And then the ring of good fortune. All right. I'm gonna have to play around with the thingies to.
There should be a place that allows you to just change your initiative modifier. Yeah, it's at the top.
Yeah.
Attribute options.
Yeah. So I just add +5.
If you want the elven boots back, that's fine with me.
Gives me
Yeah,
a
'cause
4.
you've got a set, Vale's got a set, so we got at least 2 pair.
Yeah, I don't need it as much as you would use it, I guess. So those are your boots if you want them back.
Do you want the flying boots?
I'm not gonna attune to them. I think
Yeah, you've
I
got.
don't know, I guess I
everybody's got 3.
I could unattune from the flail if I wanted it.
Yeah, you got your super weapon.
Yeah, I don't use the flail as much anymore. I don't know. I'll think.
A flying monk who thinks he's a cat.
I mean, that would be interesting.
Okay, so Matt, because even if I add like the wisdom modifier of 5, it still calculates in my deck, so it would have made it 4. So I just put it as 6, so that way it's
fine. Yeah.
the 5. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay.
I'm not changing anything I have. I have a ring of protection, cloak of protection, and my right.
Sounds good. Okay. Well, once all of your stuff is gathered up and you've attuned to the things that you need to, you've probably taken an hour in this because it takes an hour to reattune to different things. So we'll count this as a short rest as well. So everyone can go ahead and roll some hit dice if you'd like to.
Seriously?
What's no
Oh my
6?
god!
Oh no!
That's 16 more points, though, at least. There you go. 25. Oh shit! Look at that, big dog dropping the big ones.
Oh yeah.
How many was that? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I kind of miss my level 20 paladin where I'd drop the hit dice and just massive amounts of points when I needed it.
Yep, and that puts me in maximum HP.
Perfect.
I actually went over by like 3. That's
Whoops.
Well, once you all finish gathering up your stuff and prepare yourselves, Adamus leads you down to a room where a teleportation circle has been inscribed in the floor. You can already tell that people have been moving in and out of it for quite some time. There's been there's like boxes and crates and chests and things all out in different hallways as you're passing, which allows you to tell that this whole fortress is currently in the process of being vacated. Once your turn is set up, you are led into the room along with Adamus. And Adamus tells you, I'm going to be going with you to at least make the introductions. After that, I will be moving forward and heading to the next location along with Mitchell here to begin setting up for the ritual. Mitchell steps up as well, and he says to you all, I just want to once again thank you all for your help in coming and bringing me to my right state of mind once again. I don't know if I'll ever be able to make up for my part assisting the cult in their experiments, but at the very least, I'm going to be there to help you all in this endeavor. Hopefully everything works out, and I will see you in the dream realm after the battle has taken up. Good luck to you all, and I wish you all the very best in your infiltration. There's a wizard nearby who comes up and finishes casting the spell. You all step through the portal and are dragged to another room. This one made up entirely of roughly hewn stone with a very simple teleportation circle inscribed on the floor. Veil, you're in there for about a minute, so if you'd like to attempt to memorize this portal location, you can try to.
Yeah. What would you like me to do?
That's an intelligence check.
All right, just straight intelligence.
Yep.
That is a You know what? Okay, so here's my question about that.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're back in time, all the other teleportation circles that I know don't work, or would it work? How does that work?
They don't exist right now in this time.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. Okay. I'm going to use a lucky point just because this is something I think we need. Let me just tick off a lucky point. There we go. And
He doesn't actually need it, but I like making him waste his lucky points.
Come on, better roll.
15.
There it
15,
is.
very nice. You look down and commit the portal address to memory. So you can teleport back to this location if you need to.
Okay.
You can just mark down that you have the Loroupan Fellowship's hidden base address. It doesn't have a name.
So we're at hidden base number 2.
Hidden base number 2. You arrive along with Adamus and Mitchell, and it isn't long before a couple guards come in. They greet you all warmly. You were, of course, forewarned, or they were forewarned of your arrival, and the guards lead you down a long, dark, dusty, stone-hewn corridor to another room where you're introduced to a halfling woman by the name of Captain Mala Renfoot. Now, Captain Renfoot is the chief overseer of this base, and she kind of tells you a little bit about the situation there at the great city. She tells you that your current location is about 5 miles away from the great city. This base is a hidden location inside of a caravan, or a cavern, not a caravan, a cavern underneath one of the roots of the great tree. She had heard about the attack on the floating fortress, and she tells you that at this base itself, there's only a dozen people currently holding it up. It's a spy outpost. It's mainly used for watching the city. every person here is somebody she personally knows very well and are above reproach. They're very, very loyal to the cause, and she's not worried about your group being discovered here. She tells you that 5 miles away, as she said, is the great city itself. The walls are huge. They're 500 feet tall, and they surround the entirety of the city. The plan is that, they had reached out to their contacts in the city itself, the rebels, who supply them with information. And they let them know that a strike force is being brought in. The plan is that the rebel cell will mark a hidden doorway in the wall, which is located about 200 feet up in the southwestern wall. There, they're going to place a lantern on a hook in the wall. This lantern is going to have a green flame inside of it that can only be seen if you're about 20 feet away from it. It's very difficult to find, but as long as you move quickly, you should be able to see it. At this lantern next to it, there's going to be a 5-foot-long crack that is about an inch wide in the wall. Pushing on that crack will push in a doorway, a stone doorway that's hidden in that area. She tells you that you need to take the lantern with you inside and close the door behind you. This will lead you to a corridor that goes into the wall and will lead you to a set of stairs. Your contacts in the city will be waiting for you at the bottom of these stairs. Tell them the password, Fool's Fortune, and they'll know that you are members of the Resistance. She then begins to explain that the city itself, around the Great Tree, is structured into 8 districts, which correspond with the 8 massive gateways into the city. The city itself is huge. It's a little over 300 miles across, and it's built into the network of routes that are around the tree. Inside the city, there are in total 8 different rebel cells, all operating independently of one another, and most of which don't know about one another other than the fact that they exist. Operating independently is one of the major ways that the rebellion is able to keep hidden. If no cell knows where the other one is, they can't give up the locations. But the main force of the Loroupan Fellowship has been contacting all of the different individuals through their network. And they know that the strike force is coming to arrange for the final attack. So they have been informed that the next day, the next morning, they're all to meet with you and begin discussing the attack plan. The rebel cells will give you more information about what's going on the ground there in the city. But if you have any questions about what she's told you so far, she's beginning to now pass out glasses of whiskey and tells you, if you have any questions, now's really the time. We have about, it's probably around noon right now, so we've got about 6 hours until nightfall. So you have a little bit of time to prepare before you head out. So Do you have any questions about the situation at the Great City? Can't hear you, Liam.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now we can.
Okay. You said the wall itself is 500 feet tall, right? How thick is it?
At least 50 feet thick.
Oof. I've seen our wizard friend do fancy tricks with stone walls, but I don't know if he can do it 50 feet, can he?
No.
Probably not.
Oh, this thing, does it have, like, doors? Or how would someone get in and out without a secret passage?
Well, there are the 8 large doors that are the passageways through the wall into the city. Each one is guarded by a militia of their own forces. The doors themselves are about 30 feet tall and another 15 feet wide. So quite a large amount of people can pass through them once they're open. And then there's 8 of them around the city.
How do the doors open?
They're opened by a series of chains and pulleys. The guards use some levers. There's levers on the guardhouses on either side of the door. Pulling them activates clockwork cranks, which are attached to chains and counterweights. The weights go down, the doors open.
Have any of your...
Ooh, I do love chains and counterweights.
Oh, Lord. Have any of your groups been able to gain access to these guardhouses? Any of your spies gotten in? Could we get somebody into at least a few of those guard? Prefer all 8s, but I'll take as many as I can get.
That would be a question you'd have to ask the leadership of the rebel cells themselves. I don't have information on what their individual teams have access to or not access to.
Well, we got time before that spell goes off, so if we have to get in and watch them to figure out how we can get in, we can do that. So we need to get probably at least half of those doors open. Try and get as many people out.
Master Adamus said you all had some plans in that, something to do with acid and stuff like that.
Okay, we know the opening mechanism of these doors?
They're chains, the levers.
Yeah, but like, are they on the inside, outside? Like, does it
They're
require?
in the guardhouses.
Do they like require multiple people? Like houses? Does that mean that we need someone in each and they have to do it simultaneously? Yeah. Like, how complicated is this?
It's more complicated than that. Like, if you have somebody come in there and just flip a lever, the guards on the other side can countermand that and close them again.
So we need each side of each door. Wonderful.
Either that, or you spoke of destroying the mechanisms themselves.
Yeah. Oh, well, could we destroy one side and use the levers on the other?
Well, okay, so we don't all have to stick together when we wind walk. Like, when I cast a spell, we have to be within 30 feet of each other, but I don't think we have to.
We'll be miles from
within
each other,
30.
though, if we're gonna do that.
It lasts for 8 hours, though. So if like we figure out how to open the doors, we can decide on a place to meet up and wind walk back there.
I mean, it's an option. We can once we get inside, we'll meet these cells and we'll see what they have, and we can go from there.
Right, we were hoping that maybe if we saw the construction of the doors, we'd be able to come up with a plan to open them in a way that they couldn't be countermanded.
We'll just Have to figure that one out. If we can destroy one side so they can't countermand it, or if we just get somebody in each side.
Right, but as soon as one happens, the rest are going to go on high alert immediately.
Well, we'll just have to. I mean, it's timing's going to be the key. That's
Right.
why I was thinking we could just sow as much chaos in the city to maybe pull some of those militias out from those gates.
Hey, I've seen this one before.
Chaos.
Well,
Are there horses involved?
We can try.
There might be
But you don't
cows
wanna-
this time.
Do you really want to pull the same gag twice? I mean, come on. Do we want to?
Hey, well, listen.
Forward.
Nobody knows about it.
I guess you're
Not
right.
here, they
yeah.
don't.
Well, just out of curiosity, are there any larger than normal work animals in the city?
Like horses and things like that.
Beast of burden.
Right. I mean, I'm trying to insinuate something like in the underground city we saw that giant dinosaur like pulling the cart.
that
Is there
lizard
anything
thing
like
gave it-
massive
yeah.
like that?
Oh, in Moira?
Morag.
Morag.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
there are plenty of dragons flying around the city right now. There's a lot of different sort of creatures like that are part of the army itself.
Oh, I was thinking of work animals that could be easily spooked, honestly.
That's sort
We'll
of the
keep
point
thinking.
Remember, the city itself is not just a big flat area of land. There are behind the walls. It's all of the buildings are built into and around the root system of the tree. So
Right.
there's many different levels to things, and it's
And we're trying to organize the largest mass evacuation ever conceived. Right.
well. If anyone wants to get a good bird's eye view of what you'll be dealing with, we do have a spyglass that, and you're close enough that you can at least see the walls of the city.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. Well, Captain Renfoot gathers you all up. Adamus and Mitchell say their goodbyes and wish you luck for your planned evacuation. They remind you that in 12 days' time, at the crack of dawn, the ritual will be complete, and the creature you all had seen before, the creature known as Ambar Belthor, will then immediately attack the biggest, largest, most powerfully magical thing around. Obviously, the Dreaming Tree.
Mhm.
So, you need to plan your evacuation around that timetable. When those two men leave, Captain Renfoot leads you all to a bit of a hatch in the dirt, and you were led on top of a large mound of a hill. She passes you a spyglass, and one by one you put it to your eye and look out towards the west, where the massive tree resides. So I want everybody to give me a perception check. We're going to see who sees what.
Gadoosh.
Ooh, big ol' 8.
19.
23.
21.
Okay. Apollyon.
14.
Apollyon. You put the spyglass to your eye, and then you immediately spot this really cool bug that you have never seen before walking along the ground. It's impressive, and you can't help but pass over the spyglass and get down and start watching this thing. It kind of looks almost like a bug version of a dragon crawling along the ground. So you don't really see a whole hell of a lot.
Dang.
Those who see the most are Eloise and Blood, obviously. Liam, you spot a little bit less, but Blood, with your 23, you're able to see the most. And Eloise, you'd be able to see most of this stuff as well. The walls are huge. That's the first thing you spot, other than the tree, which dwarfs everything else in the landscape. Blood, you've seen, well, actually all of you have seen the Umbra Spire before, and you don't need a spyglass to see the tree. Even though you're 5 feet away, it dominates everything around you. Blood, you lived around the Umbra Spire for most of your life. You'd seen it in the distance, and you can't help but reflect as you're looking at the tree that the Umbra Spire can only be a small percentage of what the tree actually is. Like, this thing is massive. The lowest branches of the tree shadow the entirety of the city surrounding it, as well as the walls. The city itself lives in a perpetual shadow underneath this tree. So much so that even at this distance, the city glows with a vibrant golden hue from the light shining in pretty much every single window in the city. The walls themselves barely obscure the root structure around the trunk of the tree. And you just looking at it and the massiveness of it. Like, basically imagine being up, like anyone who's flown out of a city before, like Lambert, and you look down at the city of St. Louis below, the great city around the tree is double that size. Over 300 miles across. It's huge. Blood and Eloise, the two of you and Liam would all be able to see dragons flying around the tree, keeping in position somewhere between the very tops of the walls and the very bottom of the lowest branches of the tree.
We don't see our pal dragon that we just fought with, do we?
I mean, they're 5 miles away.
Okay.
Yeah. There's probably more than one red too.
Yeah,
fair enough.
It's like, you know, when you look up in the sky and you can see an airplane flying at a distance and it's tiny. That's kind of what you're seeing. You can make out some colors. There is quite a bit of metallics there. Reds, blacks, whites, greens. Don't see any blues as the two of you, or the three of you, kind of pass the lens back and forth between you all. There are a few chromatic dragons as well. There are other things that Blood and Eloise would be able to see. Tiny, tiny. It's hard to make out entirely what they are. Smaller than dragons, but still large. Some of them possibly wyverns. Others even smaller than that, barely more than seeing a stick figure of a man, but with large wings spread about them. Celestials is kind of what you're guessing. There is a large force flying overhead. Other than that, you can also see a lot of movement around. Well, from this position, you'd probably be able to see at least 3 of the large gateway doors that were described to you. At least the outline of where you're guessing they are. Again, it's 5 miles away, but you're looking through a spyglass, so you're able to at least see some of this. And you can also see that there's large crowds milling about in front of these doors, which are at least one side open and one side closed, telling you that trade and commerce are still kind of moving in and out of the city. As you finish this examination, you hand the spyglass back to Captain Renfoot, who says, "I've been instructed to give you whatever aid you might need. As Adamus and I said previously, the rebel cell that you're going to be meeting with is placing that lantern in position this evening after the sun has gone down. So if there's anything else I can do to help, just let me know. Other than that, I wish you all the very best of luck as you make your way." And I think that's actually a great place to take a break. So we will be back in about 10 minutes, folks. And when we return, the Faab Five are planning on doing something to get to that hidden doorway. We'll find out what they're going to do here soon.
Decisions.
Yeah. But stay tuned. We'll be back shortly. Howdy, everybody. We are back. Happy Halloween once again. And now that Alyssa has lost the wig, we can go ahead and get back on into the game. When we last left off, the Faab Five were in an unknown hidden location controlled by the Loroupan Fellowship about 5 miles away from the great city surrounding the Dreaming Tree. They have to wait until this evening and then make their way to a specific point in the wall, a location about 200 feet up on the southwestern side of the city. So let's find out what they plan to do to get to that point. By this time, Captain Renfoot have led you all back inside the compound. You are once again inside her office, and the discussion comes to what you're going to do to get into the city. So, Faab Five, what is the plan?
Yeah.
Where the lantern's gonna be at, is it how far from like the gates is that location gonna be?
Renfoot isn't sure exactly where it is. It's a hidden location. They were told that it's going to be on the southwestern side of the city, somewhere between the two gateways on that side. The only way you're going to find it is you got to find a lantern with a green flame that's just going to be hanging somewhere on the wall. And that will show you where the crack is that signifies the door.
I think we finally...
It's down low, right? It's not like...
No, it's 200 feet up.
Oh, the crack. Yeah. I thought the lantern's there. I didn't know if the crack was there, too.
The crack is there, too.
I think this is a perfect job for Jareth. He can fly on ahead, find a green flame. He's not colorblind, is he?
No, he's Fae. He's not really an owl, so... yeah, he'd see.
It depends. Is Veil colorblind? That would be the real problem.
Just because I have
Veil
depth
just doesn't
perception
have any
issues.
depth perception.
Well, he sees through his eyes, so that's what I'm... is a green flame going to be unusual to be seen?
Yeah, it is going to be unusual to be seen. I mean, you know,
the
flame is usually orange and yellow, so...
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to have to move quick as soon as we see it. Is it is it unusual for people to climb the wall?
Oh yes, absolutely it is. If you're spotted making your approach towards a point between the
doors,
gates,
yeah.
the snipers on the wall will just immediately attack, or they'll send some of the flying squadrons to investigate.
Except on Tuesdays, because Rhonda's rock climbing gym just uses the wall for practice.
Right. This isn't Tuesday, right?
We just pretend to be, rock climbers for fun. Casual rock climbers.
We just got pouches full of chalk powder.
Well, honestly, if you can get me close enough to that wall, I can do 200 feet in about 6 seconds.
Well, another thing is, I'd say we could go and wind walk, but some of those dragons can see people who are. Would they be able to see us?
I mean,
they got
we're not invisible.
So...
Like, it's not like
yeah. Well, we can do it at
it's...
night too, because it's gonna be in the.
We just we don't look like much of anything. The way that I don't know, I've always imagined it is like, it was I can't remember what book it was described, like this in a book where it's like every cell in your body separates and gets further apart until it's easy for the wind to carry you off. So you're not visible. You're just dust on the wind.
You're mist.
Yeah, so the wind walk spell itself specifically says that you assume a gaseous form for the duration, appearing as wisps of cloud. So wisps of cloud are still visible. It's just like your physicality size just as a cloud.
Right. There's a chance we could be spotted, but it would get us all inside.
Well, yeah, but
we
then we
also could go travel 600 feet every 6 seconds. That's 100 feet per second.
Right, but not beyond the sight of a dragon.
But beyond their speed.
Right, but we'd still just
That's
be.
True. We're basically
it's still just enough to get us inside. If that's what you want to do, then let's do it.
Well, it's burning a spell slot for her. I guess that would be her decision.
Right. Otherwise,
we'd
have to open the gash in the wall, take the lantern in with us. Everyone would have to get up to that 200-foot height somehow.
Well, some of y'all could fly. You can walk.
Eloise can't anymore.
Not anymore. Well, I could wild shape.
Yeah.
I can climb the wall. You can climb the wall.
I can carry Veil. Or Apollyon can.
Apollyon can carry.
How thick is the wall?
Yeah. I think you said 50 feet deep.
Oh,
yeah,
50 feet thick.
Oh yeah. No way I'm getting in there with a. What's that? I don't remember the spell.
Right.
The corridor.
Stone shape or whatever.
Yeah.
pass
You could
wall?
dimension door to the crack.
Pass wall.
You could burn a spell and just teleport there with dimension door.
Well, if we're going to burn a spell, might as well be mist.
And that'll last us 8 hours. We can keep, we can be mist, become, corporeal again, and then re-become mist for 8 hours. It just takes a minute to recorporeate. Is that a word?
Recorporealize.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, recorporealize.
Recorporeate?
Retake human form. How about that? We'll just make it easier. A few more words.
Corporealization-itude.
Recorporeate.
So when is this lantern supposed to be placed at?
What time? It's going to be placed out there at dusk, and they're only going to leave it there for
And
until morning.
how late are people coming in and out of the city? Is it all the time, or is there a time
all
where they
the
shut the
time.
gates? Okay,
No.
so we can.
They shut the gates infrequently, but they always open them again soon after, and they're never closed for
So-
more than an hour.
So we could get close and approach on foot, as if we were part of a caravan, and then do our thing and make for the crack with a lantern.
You could absolutely make your way up to the queue to the gates. There are
How,
guards posted all throughout.
Well,
the
how long is
area
that
on the
queue?
road. It could take hours. It could take days,
Mm.
depending on what gate you go through and how many people are there at the time.
And you said there's
Wait, it
people
can
like
take
guards.
days to get through the gate?
Well, that's not something that happens all the time, obviously, but it's been known to happen. In days leading up to festivals and things like that, when people come from all over the continent, it can absolutely take several days to get into the
So
city.
it's like getting into like a concert or something. Like there's a big security checkpoint. And
Yes.
They're patting everybody down and asking for your papers. And...
Oh, yes, the security getting into the city is extreme. You have to
I
have...
don't suppose they've heard of the Golden Boi before, have they?
No. You have to have what?
You have to have written permission to get through. There's a very large bureaucracy set up, and anyone who comes through are thoroughly checked over. Weapons are not allowed to be brought into the city except by
Shit.
God, Matt's blanking on the right word.
By soldiers, militia.
Soldiers.
Right. Without
legal-
express permission.
Legal, yeah.
No recordings of the NFL
Dang,
without
we should've
express
disguised
permission.
ourselves.
Consent. Yeah.
Those are some of the soldiers, guys.
Yeah, we kind of blew it on
I
that
don't know.
one.
How could they? How could
Right,
they
well,
not believe El
we got-
Toro Fuerte is
but-
just
Trust me, this
coming to the
young
ball at
seeming
the
stuff
palace?
that we are will be done by then.
Right, but
Um,
we're not going in that way. So we don't have to worry about the weapons thing.
But about the paperwork, do we have copies of any of that we could maybe make copies ourselves? Just in case we do get stopped while we're walking around? Figure we might need to have that on us.
We do have a few copies of documents that have been used in the past. If you're wanting to examine them and make some of your own.
I think we should do that, because who knows when we might get stopped at any time. We gotta have something.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
I'm
Bill,
not exactly planning on
Bill's a
getting
great
stopped.
counterfeiter.
What was that,
Well,
Apollyon?
I said, Blood's a great counterfeiter. Let him make a little carbon copy there.
You don't want to just go killing everything you see, Liam. You might need to be a little more subtle.
I said I don't plan on getting stopped. I didn't say I was killing everything.
Well, you may
Quite
not
an
have
assumption.
a choice to get stopped, unfortunately. That's why I'm going to make you papers anyway. Shut up.
I should warn you that making your way into the city through the gates themselves is massively dangerous. That's why
I figure we would have the paperwork on us in case we're stopped when we're in the city. Is that something that does people get checked regularly, or?
They do actually check individuals in the city every so often, patrolling guards, that sort of thing. Identification is required in the city itself. The cell that you were going to be coming into contact with, that's Cell Alpha, they have been working to secure your identification for once you're inside.
Aw, damn, I was going to give Liam a funny name or something on his. Damn.
Well, Adamus told us to make all preparations for your group. That way you could just make your way in. That's why the Alpha group is made this doorway available to you all.
Alright. Well, if they're gonna have identification for us, then we don't need to waste time on that. We just need to worry about getting inside now. So yeah, Miss Elo, I guess how far from dusk are we?
You got like about 4 hours till dusk. It's not like a super long time.
Right,
so
but we
maybe-
got 5 miles to travel, so we might as well start heading out, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean,
But then again, if we're going in the gaseous form, maybe we just have a nice meal and then poof,
And
travel much faster.
Oh yeah, I love a wind walk.
Windwalk does only take a minute to cast, and it lasts for 8 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, so we could cover the 5 miles pretty quick. We could just wait for dusk, honestly. Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe 30 minutes before dusk, and then cast it. Then, so we're already on our way. I guess it wouldn't take us 30 minutes to travel 5 miles.
5
and wait
miles?
for me.
No, not at
No.
all. It'd take you like maybe 20 minutes at most, something like that.
At 60 miles an hour, you can cover 5 miles in 5 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
We're faster than that.
Okay. Well, if you're going to stay there at that location and wait till dusk, you can absolutely relax and eat with the soldiers there. Meals are very simple in these locations. It's like field rations, things like that. It's not elaborate meals, but you are provided with sustenance. And you all wait, preparing yourselves, discussing strategy and that sort of thing once you arrive in the city itself, until eventually dusk begins to fall. Now, if anyone goes outside just to watch, the setting sun behind the great tree is a beautiful sight to be sure. The sun's rays just cast this golden glint around the entirety of the tree, which I've described before. It's it's almost like a massive bonsai, you know. Just imagine Yggdrasil, which is kind of what the Dreaming Tree is based off of. It's just this massive trunk, large branches all over the place with big bushy leaves, and so the sun catching the skyline behind it almost makes the tree glow as though it's on fire. Something of an appropriate vision, considering what your team is getting ready to do. But as the sun begins to set, Captain Renfoot lets you all know that the time is approaching very soon, and leads you all to one of the escape hatches to the surface. Eloise, at that point, I assume you cast Windwalk.
Yippers.
Okay. You cast your spell, and you and your party all assume this gaseous form, appearing like wisps of clouds in, a somewhat of a humanoid appearance. You then set off across the landscape, flying low and moving fast as you make your way across. You can see the glow of the city ahead of you, this massive city surrounded by an even larger tree that glows with a golden hue that just seems to radiate above the walls of surrounding it. You start making your way towards the southwestern wall, knowing that somewhere in that area, a lantern is currently being placed along the middle of that wall. The closer you get, the more you can see the beings flying around and around the city, patrolling high above it, keeping watch for any suspicious activity, like, say, armies that are approaching. Dragons fly overhead, occasionally roaring to one another. As you get closer, you can see other massive creatures as well. Coatl, certainly. Wyverns. You can see a rock flying around overhead. You can see quite a few things, all manner of winged beasts. Some bearing riders, others on their own. You can see hosts of celestials flying in and out, making up a large portion of this aerial army. Angels of all types, from tiny diminutive things to creatures that look much like, Adamus would if he had wings. Golden-hued creatures wearing bright, shiny armor, wielding celestial-type weapons glowing brightly as they all fly around the city. As you get closer, I'm going to need everyone to make stealth checks with advantage. Because while, you're not in humanoid form, you are kind of conspicuous in the fact that you are clouds. But considering the fact that it is nighttime and there's a lot of stuff going on, the DC isn't terrible.
Oh, jeez.
19.
Liam, why did you roll strength
I
save?
I
did
rolled
not
19.
mean to roll a strength save. I don't
Okay.
know.
30.
But I rolled a 2 and a 3, and my stealth is, I don't know why. I guess my stealth is a 10, I think, so still not great. 12 and 13.
Well,
6.
a 13.
Right.
Okay. So, Blood, you rolled a 30. Veil, you rolled a 19. Apollyon, you rolled an 18. Eloise, you rolled a 6. And Liam, you rolled a 13. Fortunately, this is a group stealth check. For the moment, at least, your group does not seem to have been taken notice of. You get closer to the wall, beginning to fly upwards at an angle. That way you can start searching for that lantern with the green flame that's just hanging somewhere along the wall. Next, I want everyone to make perception checks. This is going to be another group check.
Not at advantage, though, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah.
23.
Eek. 11.
24.
Dang, almost as good as his blood.
19.
So we should have a decent one. She's got a pretty good perception.
I know, I'm clicking again because it's...
Oop.
Whoop. That wasn't supposed to be at... Alright,
13.
13.
13. Fairly decent spread overall. Apollyon and Blood, you're leading the charge, coasting along. You can't really talk to one another, but you can at least motion. And Blood and Apollyon, the two of you spot it together. The single green flame, just slightly illuminated. It's difficult to see, given that the city beyond is so well lit. And it's like, you don't even see the flame itself at first. You just see something out of the ordinary along a base smooth wall. But as you start flying up towards it, you get that greenish glow. And you motion to your friends to come and join. Give me one more group stealth check.
Normal?
You're still at advantage because it is dark and you are in cloud form.
$20.
Shit, look at that.
21.
They're really good there.
18!
25.
Yeah, we're doing good now.
Yeah, that's a much better spread, which is a good thing because the DC of this was much higher than your previous one on approach. You hear a roar overhead that makes you all stop. And you look up as a bright gold-scaled dragon comes flying overhead. Just as you get close to seeing that, or getting close to where that lantern was hanging, you all freeze, looking up to see the dragon fly across right above where you all were getting ready to fly. The dragon circles around overhead, and it seems to be heading down towards one of the nearby gates. You watch as it hovers there, just above a large group of people starting to make their way towards the gateway. It's a wagon caravan. The dragon flies close to it and unleashes a jet of fire that just goes along the ground right next to where this caravan is, burning the ground alongside of it, just barely missing the caravan itself. Blood and Apollyon, you rolled so high with your perception that you're able to see a lot of people scattering away from the caravan once these flames hit the ground. And then you watch as the dragon lands right down next to the caravan. There's about 8 wagons in total. The horses are all spooked and rearing and screaming loudly. And you just kind of watch a little slack-jawed as this gold dragon bites down on a pair of horses, gobbling them up before laughing this loud laugh and reaching into the skies once again. People are screaming. People are yelling. You can only barely hear them at the distance, but it's pandemonium. But you feel like this is also an excellent time to slip through the crack. Now, given the fact that you are actually in this gaseous form, and there is an inch gap there, you don't really need to push on the door. You just have to slide through it, one by one, by one. But with the distraction of that dragon, attention is elsewhere, and each one of you make it through the crack into the wall itself.
I would still like to open the wall door and pull the lantern in because that was part of our instructions.
Well, to do that, once you're in on the other side, you're going to have to reform once again.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay?
Take a minute.
So you take a minute to reform. Once you do, you're all now standing in the corridor. So Liam at the very back pushes on the door, sliding it. Give me a stealth check, Liam.
Okay. Make sure I turn the advantage off. Okay. Actually, I do have advantage on stealth, don't I?
Do you? For what?
Yeah, I didn't do the, or she took the boots back, didn't she? I don't.
Boots.
Yeah, that's right. So 19.
19. You push open the door just slightly, enough to get your arm through. You reach out, feeling for the lantern. You manage to snatch it, but as you do, it clanks against the wall, and the flame kind of sputters in your hand. The glass shatters, and the oil that's in the lantern kind of coats your hand, catching your hand on fire. You pull it in quickly, slamming the door, and it's in place once again. You're going to take a total of 8 points of fire damage.
All right.
As your hand is now burst into flame and you're having to fling it about, pat it down, trying to get the flames to extinguish, but the oil is thick and it takes you a moment to finally get it all out.
Oh, green fire. Oh, worse than normal fire for some reason. Okay. Keep that in mind. Oh, we were
Man
told
who
to
was-
bring the lantern with us. What are you looking at me like that for?
The man who was eaten by acid decided to grab hold of the green flame.
It was in a protective glass in the ideal scenario.
But you're at least you're hopeful that nobody spotted you, so there is that.
All right. Now the next phase was down some stairs, I believe.
Yeah. There you now see a corridor about 20 foot long that ends at a T junction, or not T junction, an L junction. You start making your way down. You can't. There's no lights or anything like that, but you all have dark vision in one way or another, so you can see just fine. At the end of the corridor, you see a set of stairs going downward that transcend 50 feet, 100, 200. At 200 feet, you can see, well, probably sooner than that, you can see a glow at the bottom of the stairs. In total, you go about 350 feet downward at an angle along these stairs until you can see what appears to be an opening. You continue onward down towards that opening, hurrying, now that you can actually see some signs of life in at least the light. And whoever's in the lead, we're going to say Apollyon, since Apollyon already moved his token, can see that at the bottom of the opening, just a little bit into the clearing of the room, you can see that there is a half-elf man standing there. He is decked out in plate armor. He has a massive sword that's just put down into the ground, and he's kind of leaning on the hilt of it like this. It's almost like one of those freaking Cloud Strife swords from Final Fantasy VII. Just a massively wide, huge greatsword.
Okay.
And he's just kind of
I love a
standing
huge
there like
greatsword.
this, watching you, Apollyon, as you make your way down. What did you say?
I love a huge greatsword.
Hmm.
I walk over to him. Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Hold it there, he says as you start approaching him.
Whoa.
What is the
Hey, no.
password?
Heed. I am El Toro Fuerte. I come in peace.
That is not the password. Attack them all!
Full fortune!
Oh, Fool's Fortune. Yeah, that's it.
Eloise, you come just yelling that behind as this half-elf levels his sword upward about to strike, but he hears you and pauses.
Let's just lean it against a wall. Just
He just had to say his
Boy,
name.
you guys are jumpy. I was getting there any moment.
at this point, I don't think you look like El Toro Forte anyway.
He
Like
did
that
the
8 hours
singing.
is gone.
Didn't
Yeah,
he?
but
Yeah,
it's been a while.
It hasn't been 8 hours
Oh
yet.
well, it was 4 till dawn. We've had at least 2 short rests in that time.
But you cast the spell after the short rest.
Oh.
cast the spell after the short rest, and so it's been about 5 of the 8 hours. So yes, you still look like lesser versions of yourself.
Like librarians.
Fancier.
But no.
Fancier.
Fancy clothes. You remember that?
Oh yeah, fancy
Yeah,
clothes
that's right.
versions of yourself.
Everybody looks like normal, but like we're dressed up going to the ball.
There you go.
Not like we're wearing armor and weapons and adventuring gear, you know?
Yeah, no, you
Gotta
just look like
blend.
a big
in
group
the
that's
city.
headed to the ball. And now that
Our fashion is just, 10,000 years into the future.
Yeah.
Way ahead of its time.
way ahead of its time, absolutely.
No, guys,
like,
things
what is
come back
this
around
thing
again, so
on
this
your
is
jacket?
current fashion.
Well, anyway, once Eloise calls out Fool's Fortune, the half-elf puts down his sword, and you can see that from behind him there's a couple others in the room as well. A furbog and a tiefling who were getting ready to attack as well, or preparing themselves. But you've said the password, so they're relaxing for the moment. The furbog steps forward and he says, Are you the heroes?
You know we are, baby!
You'll
Well, or something.
you'll have to forgive us. The army messaged ahead and said your group would be coming this way, but
Yeah,
none of us
Well-
believed that it would actually.
we're under a spell, so we don't look like our normal selves either.
Liam walks forward and places the broken lantern on the ground. I found it!
What happened to the lantern?
Right.
He
It
did.
was trying to be all sneaky like, and then like the glass was just it barely touched anything, one of those things.
The trio kind of look at one another and well, heroes, you'll forgive me if we ask this, but can we see the implements? Can we
Oh,
see the symbols of your power?
password's not enough these days. I understand. Liam pulls out his sword and like turns it into the flame blade.
They all kind of jump back at the sight of this. You just hold out a rod and press a button, and shing! Large sword just comes springing out of the tip and bursts into flames. They're all like, "Oh!"
I know, that was my reaction first time it did its thing as well. I'll press the button and it'll go back into a rod.
Oh wow, that's incredible. The rest of
Check
you,
this out. And I'll plant the trident down and I'll use it to create water to make it just like rain in a 10-foot circle while I electrify the end of it.
You just have this rain cloud coming down around you as you electrify this trident, and the rain just is pummeling you, but it's only this tiny little area, and they're just, oh wow. They all can't help but clap.
Vale holds his hand up and he does the trick with his thumb, and to make it look like he's removing his index finger, sliding it off its thumb.
Yeah, because we don't have the gem right now.
Well, no, that's true. You don't have the gem, but he also has his zombies, which are one of his one of the things that spoke of him.
Oh yes, there are those things too. And he opens up the portable hole, and there's just a horde in there, and they're all groaning, and
they're down there pulling their
Yes.
thumbs off.
they're actually pulling their thumbs off.
Right.
Yeah, they're just pulling the thumbs off and showing it.
One of those 5 heroes we killed, one of the guards' brothers, like, Frank? Like, no, that's a different guy. Different guy.
What-
Totally different
What
guy.
if I was that sadistic fuck who would have done that?
No, this is the wrong campaign. This is the
You
wrong
shut
campaign.
up.
Sonnet of Blood is where that happens.
Ain't that the truth? But anyway, Blood, do you show him the bow as
Yeah,
well?
hell, I mean, he's not gonna shoot a fucking arrow in here, but I assume maybe like when he pulls it back, like it at least forms a little, maybe a blue crystal kind of spectral arrow.
And Eloise, you also show them Desi?
I hold a staff.
Wow, those last two are not nearly as impressive as the others, but
Would you like me to shoot you in the forehead? I can.
not particularly, no.
All right then. You'll
It's
just have
too
to take my
small
word
and-
for it.
It's too small in here for Desi to do her thing, okay?
Thank you for showing these signs to us. You'll forgive me if we didn't believe you, but Master Adamus has spoken of the implements so many times. We just had to see him for ourselves.
I want to insight check this. He just
Insight
wants to
check.
know what to rob off of us. I hope Blood is proud of my paranoia.
The dead bodies of the three we're supposed to meet are in these barrels over here.
Oh, Jesus. 13.
Yeah, they seem on the level. They legitimately wanted to see the implements.
You're
Once
not
you-
without fancy weapons yourself. That sword is quite a piece itself there.
The half elf kind of gives a big old grin at that, and he says, "Oh yeah, this thing here is. This weapon has served me quite well. Well met, heroes. My name is Scion. With me is Lurin." He motions to the furbog. He's our leader, and this over here is Sith. The tiefling nods as well. You could tell that of the entire group, she's the least armored out of everyone. She when you were making your way in, you watched as she was like putting her hands to her head, getting ready to cast a spell, but other than a spell focus in her hand, she appears to be unarmed and unarmored. The furbog steps forward and says, "As Scion said, I'm Lurin. Welcome to the resistance."
Vive la
Master
resistance.
Adamus sent word ahead saying that you are the heroes. You will be facing the great wisdom and leading the charge into the dream realm itself. We've heard stories all of our lives, but seeing you in person, wow. It's like history is unfolding right in front of us. Please come in.
You think it's
And
history for you unfolding in front of you? If only you knew.
If only they knew indeed. They take a moment and show you around their hidden base. It's explained to you that you are currently in the sewer system underneath the great city. They have small hideouts like this throughout the city, but this is their primary location. This is Group Alpha, one of the 8 groups that, one of the 8 cells that operate here within the great city. They walk you around and show you everything that's here in this hideout, which isn't a whole lot. Other than a small library and maps and papers and all sorts of things that spies would use in this sort of setting, as well as an ample store of rations and alcohol and provisions. There is a total of 3 doors in this area. One of them leads to, well, an outhouse that they just kind of dug and hid behind a bookshelf. There are 2 other doorways as well. One that leads to the lower level, which is mostly where they reside. There's a small dormitory down underneath the location you're currently in that has a handful of bunks and a couple desks and things like that. They show you their escape hatch. There's a total of 2 egress points here in this location. The first is over here, behind one of the bookshelves, which leads to the sewer itself. The second is over here, and this is a hidden escape tunnel to a different portion of the sewers. That's behind. Basically, what you have to do is you have to push on a hidden button that they show you. It opens the doorway, and you kind of have to push your way through to get into the sewer itself. They tell you that their location is one of the most closely guarded secrets here in the great city. So much so that no other cell, other than the 3 of them and about 5 other people, know of its location. In total, this cell has a total of 15 members, most of which are spread throughout this particular quadrant of the city. They have a variety of jobs. Most of them humble laborers. A few of them positions of authority within some of the noble houses in the area. But for the most part, they keep themselves inconspicuous and use their anonymity to report the comings and goings and the general political situation here in the city. As you know, there's a total of 8 cells within the city, all of them feeding the main army with information and things like that. No group has more than Outpost Alpha here where you are. Most of the cells have about a dozen or more, some close to their number of 15, but no more than that. And like I said, most of them laborers, low-ranking civil servants, that sort of thing. But everybody is eager and hopeful for what's to come.
I had a quick question for you all. You see, on our approach, a giant golden dragon came down and just chomped up a couple horses and then took off. Is that something that happens normally? Is that regular? Was he just hungry?
It's more normal than we care to admit. You see, the dragons themselves are in a loose alliance with the Great Wisdom. While the Great Wisdom rules over Loroupa, dragons are powerful enough to at least be given some level of anonymity. They feed when they choose to, and the Great Wisdom allows this to happen because their power is the major form of might within the Wisdom's army. The great dragons, the ancient ones, are in alliances with the great wisdom. They wish Loroupa to remain open. That way they can come and go through the multiverse as they choose. It's the same reason why so many of the gods choose to ignore the great wisdom and allow him to do what he will. Because so long as he keeps Loroupa open, the gods are able to influence their followers here on the continent and on the planet. If the great wisdom were to deny the connection to Loroupa, all of these gods would lose their connection to their followers. And the dragons would not be able to travel the multiverse anymore. Or at least those that were stuck here. So it's all a giant web of convenience, layered upon layered upon layer, all centering around the great wisdom himself, or itself.
I see.
If the wisdom falls, the ancient dragons have to flee. Otherwise, they'd be stuck here on Loroupa. Therefore, they are willing participants. Same for the Celestials. Their gods wish access to this plane of existence. Therefore, they send their minions to fight in his army. So the scene you saw, is it normal, like a day-to-day occurrence? No. But does it happen? Absolutely. And the great wisdom ignores these things. Because I suppose in the end of the day, what matters if a few of the people are eaten? All in all, the great machine keeps functioning.
Well, let's throw a big old wrench in that machine, shall we?
The messages suggested that you had a plan for just that. You wish to open the gateways. That way, when the army attacks, the civilians can make their escape.
Oi, yeah, we're in the makings of the plan. You see, we didn't want to finalize anything without seeing the city itself. So once we get in, we will finalize our plan. And yeah, we'd like to open as many doors as possible.
Oh my god.
Adamus has asked us to reach out to all the leaders of the rebellion here in the city. Each cell leader plans to make their way here to meet with you all tomorrow. I can answer any questions you might have in regard to what's going on here in the city. And I understand you have a timetable, but that information hasn't been revealed to us yet. We were instructed to wait upon your arrival, and you would fill us in from there.
Well, it's supposed to be do that when everybody's here. He'd blow to put in. Say it once.
Yeah. By this point, I imagine you all have made yourselves comfortable here in this hideaway. You're given drinks, tea, some refreshment, something a little harder if you ask for it. The trio, I'm sure I've said their names before, but it's Lurin, Sif, and Scion, the three of them. And they're willing to answer any questions you have and is willing to help you formulate a plan from here. So, what do you want to do now that you are here in the city?
Has anyone attempted to take over one of these guard posts where the gates are guarded?
No, the war itself has never made it to these walls. Well, that's not entirely true. About 15 years ago, there was an attack on the walls, but the army was repelled almost immediately and were forced to flee. The guard towers or the guard buildings themselves, they've never been taken. You see, their numbers are massive. Each guard tower has 3 squadrons assigned to it. Each squadron has more than 25 soldiers attached to it. They rotate regularly, and they rotate guard outposts regularly. So even if we were to slip in one of our spies, they would be found almost immediately. There's 2 sides to each gate. A guard house on either side, entrance and exit. And combined, they control the doors. If one side's taken, the other side can simply close the door and then make their way through tunnels into the inside. This happened during the last attack. The attack happened at 3 different gateways at the same time. Each one was sealed. The guards on the outer side of the wall made their way through tunnels through the wall, which were then collapsed behind them. And so nobody was able to make it in. Once the gates were closed, the dragons and the celestials attacked the armies on the outside, decimating them. And the Loroupan Fellowship was not able to make it into the city itself.
I think if we could focus on just one door, getting one door to permanently be open, then we could get in anyone we wanted.
And get out everyone.
Right, but we're going to want to have them want to open the doors themselves.
Mm.
I mean, if they don't want to be in the city, they're going to want to get out of the city themselves.
Well, okay, here's another thing to consider. When do we want to open that door? Because we don't want to do it too far in advance, or else they might find a way to close it. Stop playing with my doorknob, Samwise.
Well, I will remind you
I think we gotta
that,
decrease their numbers.
well, I will remind you that Adamus did specifically say that you can't open the doors until the morning of the attack.
Right.
The moment the creature appears, the Ambar Belthor appears, that's when the gates would be closed. So that attack is the coordinated. That appearance is the start of this attack that you're all leading up to.
Okay,
Right.
so then we have time to figure out how to do that. Right? Because that's not happening for another, almost 2
12
weeks.
days.
Yeah.
In 12 days, it's going to happen. Yeah.
So we've got 12 days or 11 days to figure out how we're gonna do this. Was there anything else we wanted to do in the meantime?
This is gonna have to be like a Ocean's 12 plan here.
We should be using multiple different techniques. If they find a way to close the door on one side, the same technique shouldn't work on all. For instance, maybe one door we find a way to jam the gears so they can't close them. Another door we find a way to cut the chains or something. You know? Mix it
I
up.
think we
Don't
should
make
find
it
out where
easy
the
for
guards
them.
all take their meals and poison the pot.
A uniform poisoning
So, I
is
mean-
difficult to pull off.
Blood wanted to melt one of the mechanisms with acid,
Well,
so
now
that can...
now that we know that they're levers, we didn't know what the mechanism was before. Now, I guess we could try and destroy one side of it. I mean, because he had said something about if we use one mechanism, they can counteract us on the other side. We're still gonna have to get into as many of those guard
Right.
posts as possible, regardless.
Well, so Lurin will point out that if you're able to disable the mechanisms while the doors are open, they
They'll
would
stay
just
open.
remain open.
Right.
Do you know if there are other, like, besides your little cells, are there other disaffected groups of people inside the city that might be willing to fight with us if they see the proper motivation?
Is it possible? Certainly. He's trying to think of the best way to explain this.
They're under the foot of the dream or the wisdom. I get it.
They are under the foot of the wisdom. They are controlled.
It's like a lot
forced.
to.
Could they be convinced to rise up? There's many people within the city that are disenfranchised by the great wisdom and wishes to be out from under his boot heel, as it were.
So they're just waiting for a sign of hope.
What
Maybe-
is this? Okay,
Go ahead.
does the rebellion or any, is there a symbol or something that might hearten those people, or maybe something that could signal people to get out, or that something is coming, or anything like that? Because I can write in the sky. So
Well, maybe if there isn't one, we could create a symbol.
Yeah, but then other people wouldn't
every
know.
day leading up onto the 12 days, we leave this symbol, and that's when we do something to help the people. And then they will learn this symbol to be the sign of resistance.
Well, the sign of the resistance is the sign of the 5 heroes: sword, bow, spear, staff, and gem.
So
It's the
You'll
symbol
have to show them that those heroes are here.
would they
We're ready
need to
to
see?
fight for them.
Would they need to see all 5 together, or could we start maybe, like leaving graffiti all over the city of, or with all 5? I guess I'd prefer all 5 were in the same symbol.
There is an actual symbol that the
Okay.
Loroupan Fellowship Army used. You'd seen it before,
Okay.
and it's of those five implements: the 4 weapons and the gem above it.
God, thank God Jeremy's
So-
not here to know the gem was on top of everything. That
Okay,
wouldn't
so
boost
what if-
Vale's ego at all.
what if we get some some people to start getting putting the graffiti out throughout the city, and then come the 12th day, I'll put it up in the sky, and I don't know, the words run, get out, leave, I don't know.
Or how
Part
about
of-
just resist?
Part of what we've been told was that we were to spread the word from the cells in each area to be ready for the moment of attack. Your job, part of your job,
So chaos.
is to convince the rest of the cells to work together and to coordinate to get as many people out, which is why we're having the meeting tomorrow morning, so that your group can lay out the plan to the other cells' leaders, and everyone can work together to set up and be ready for this attack.
So you're saying these stories that you've heard of the 5 heroes, those are common stories. Many people know them?
No.
No.
Other than the army itself and the believers. I mean, the story spreads around. The story has gotten around at this point. Who believes it? Well, we all believe it.
Well, for instance, you, even after we gave you a password, you wanted to see the weapons. And that, I saw a change in your eyes. You started to actually believe that these stories may be true. If perhaps randomly the people started seeing these weapons popping up around town, do you think it might have the same effect?
If your group were to do significant acts in correspondence to our group spreading the word and graffitiing your symbols, that would certainly raise awareness and inspire hope and courage throughout the people of the city.
These militias that control all the guard gates and things like that, and maybe just even amongst the wisdom's followers, are there maybe like captains of these guard or other prominent citizens that, let's say, if they just started turning up being murdered one by one with the symbol maybe painted above their dead bodies? Hey, I'm going with what I know best.
I know.
Infiltration and
mayhem.
killing.
Sorry.
That would certainly demoralize the guards.
And
No doubt.
like, are there like? I mean, is the city like? I assume that. I mean, they're all the gates, but are the militias covering like districts of the city?
Yes.
Or
Each
okay,
militia covers different districts, and the militias rotate throughout the city. So
alright.
they control different parts of the city at different times.
How often do you watch? Would you happen to have some kind of a rotation? Do you know the leaders? Do they have habits? You know,
Yes.
is there a whole house that they like to visit on occasion?
Each cell would have information about different people at different times. We do know that the militia's current rotation will be in their same positions for the next 15 days.
Okay.
The
then
militias are rotated every 30, so we are halfway through their cycle.
Well, then that's good that they'll be in the same spot, and we can talk to each cell leader and see what kind of information they have on the leadership. If we start picking them off as quietly as possible, hopefully, I think that could have a pretty decent effect.
Well, speaking of picking people off, we were asked to get information about a pair of individuals.
Yes.
Your group wanted to find.
Yeah, motherfucking bard and an old woman that's I don't know what the hell she was, a cleric, a wizard, but that asshole
Powerful.
Golden Tongue.
A
Yeah.
jackass.
If you know what Golden Tongue is, I might save him for last.
We do have information about them. The individuals you had described to the army, Ivik Abir and Munlin Goldtongue, they had arrived in the city, at the city gates, 2 days ago. They were captured by the guards there, and they were taken to a prison in the 2nd district for questioning. As from what we understand, they are currently being held there, but the leaders of that cell will be here tomorrow to give you more information.
Oh, this could be. Bloods just he said anything. He was like, "Oh my god."
I don't share your optimism. I'm sorry, Blood.
Has there been any of your members that you know of amongst the that have maybe died recently? I trust me, I got a place I'm going with this. I don't want to disrespect their memories, but we can use that.
Died.
Well, what I'm thinking of is if they are true prisoners right now, we can write up something, place it upon your dead Confederate, and have the militias just find them, and those we implicate that those Golden Tongue and Abia, as we say, hey, a couple of our people are lost in the city. We need to find them as quick as possible.
Well,
Kind of paint that they are with us and not with the wisdom. I
I'm
want
not
them.
sure.
I want them as if they are truly prisoners right now and they have not been accepted into the grace of the Wisdom's army, we need to use that and use that as quick as possible. Because eventually things are going to go wrong and they're going to figure out that they are actually here on his behalf.
Right. Personally, Golden Tongue can't be left alive. If he can get a word out, he's not a prisoner to anyone. The man's too dangerous. I guarantee he's in no cell right now.
Well, we'll find out from this, the rebel cell leader then. Because yeah, if they,
Unfortunately, I don't have any more information beyond the fact that they were captured and where they're being held.
How long ago were they captured?
so 2 days ago.
Right, and we were attacked at our secret location
Yeah.
less
Today.
than that.
That's like
Less than a
6
day,
hours
yeah.
ago. Yeah.
I don't think they're in anyone's custody.
I don't know. Just think of how crazy an idea it was that we came back. I mean, they didn't even know we came from where we came. He said he had a vision of our items. Not even us, the items.
Right, but if they killed us, then they'd have the items.
So
It's
just
all
think
about
of
the
how
items.
crazy it is that these two people are going to show up and they're going to say, hey, well, no, hey, crazy idea. Go with it. We're from the future. We're here to help.
Even if that's the case, the paranoia of the Great Wisdom explains why these two are taken into custody.
Right, and maybe taken straight to the wisdom and given him all the information they have.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow. I guess tomorrow evening is when they're
Tomorrow
coming.
morning.
Tomorrow morning. Find out in the morning. Yeah, I'm willing to try and get into that place where they're being held and kill him in his cell. If you want to go with me,
I'm telling you, it's a wasted journey. They're not in a cell.
well, we're gonna find out.
Wherever they are, we need to go get them.
Well, suppose we have to wait until tomorrow then. Speak with the leader of Cell Beta is Thotham Strongwatcher. He's a Goliath who works in the Laborers Guild. So if anyone knows more information about these two, it would be him.
Look forward to it.
And does anybody else have any other questions? Okay. Then I think that's actually a good place to end things for this evening.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start next session in the morning after another long rest, so go ahead and mark down that you're all taking a long rest.
All right.
Okay.
Tomorrow you're going to meet with the leadership of the 8 cells here within the great city, and you're going to plan out not only how to open the doors to, or the gateways to the city, but how you're going to deal with Abir and Golden Tongue. Should be a lot of fun.
12 plus 2.
Well, Thank you to everyone who watched this evening. We very much appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with us. Come back next week at 7 o'clock to find out how the Faab Five is going to deal with their more or less arch nemesises, Ivik Abier and Munlin Goldentongue, as well as, getting the city ready for the impending assault of a fucking Tarask and the united armies of the entire continent to try to deal with the BBEG. It should be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on behalf of everyone here in the Faab Five and everyone in the Random Rhapsody crew, I just want to say thank you, folks. It's been a delight. So long. Good luck. And until next time, keep it fabulous, baby. And good night.
Night.
Peace.
You are being such a pain in the butt.